dolphins are typically seen as gentle, intelligent creatures that live harmoniously in the oceans, but ancient species tell a very different story. Long before the friendly dolphins we know today, there were powerful, terrifying predators lurking beneath the waves. These ancient dolphins were faster, fiercer, and armed with fearsome adaptations to rule their prehistoric seas. Today, we'll dive into the history of these extinct dolphins and explore why they were a force to be feared. The ancient oceans were a world far removed from the calm, sunny waters we picture today. Millions of years ago, the seas were like an alien realm, teeming with creatures that seem unimaginable to us now. Gigantic sea reptiles prowled through the water, along with massive sharks, armored fish, and creatures resembling something out of nightmares. This hostile environment was not only home to these massive predators, but was also the birthplace of ancient dolphin species that were specifically adapted to survive in this perilous setting. Unlike today's dolphins, which rely heavily on social cooperation and agility, these ancient dolphins had to be fierce and cunning to navigate their surroundings. Back then, the ocean was more than just a vast expanse of water. It was a cutthroat battleground. Only the strongest, most adaptive creatures could hope to survive and thrive. Each day, these creatures faced a constant struggle to find food while avoiding becoming prey themselves. Fossil records show us that marine life during these times was often larger and far more aggressive than anything we're familiar with today. This fierce environment meant that any creature, including these early dolphins, had to develop formidable survival traits or face extinction. Ancient dolphins didn't live alongside humans who saw them as playful animals. Instead, they existed in a highly competitive food chain. Fossil records show that these extinct dolphins shared their waters with species like giant sharks, some growing as large as small boats, and massive marine reptiles like the mosasaurs. These large predators posed a constant threat and were ruthless competitors for resources, making survival a daunting task for ancient dolphins. As a result, they had to evolve rapidly to keep up with these dangers. Their physical adaptations included powerful jaws, dagger-like teeth, and specialized skeletal structures that allowed them to hunt efficiently, often rivaling or even surpassing other apex predators of the time. The evolution of these dolphins was also shaped by the need to adapt to a changing ocean. The continents were shifting, temperatures fluctuated, and sea levels rose and fell, all of which affected marine life. This dynamic landscape provided both challenges and opportunities, forcing ancient dolphins to become skilled hunters to stay competitive. Fossil records reveal that some ancient dolphins even developed highly specialized features that allowed them to hunt specific types of prey, such as armored fish or fast-swimming cephalopods. These changes were crucial, as they enabled these dolphins to take advantage of niches that other marine predators could not, ensuring their dominance for millennia. As these ancient oceans evolved, so did the behavior of ancient dolphins. Unlike modern dolphins, which often rely on social structures for protection and hunting, many ancient species were likely solitary hunters. They were built for ambush and power, with a focus on individual strength rather than group tactics. In such a violent environment, relying on a pod might have been more of a liability, as the presence of a group could attract larger predators. Fossils suggest that these ancient dolphins were more muscular and compact, built to strike fast and hard to secure their prey before retreating to safety. In this prehistoric playground of predators, ancient dolphins rose as a force to be reckoned with, combining a unique blend of speed, strength, and specialized hunting techniques. They were built not just to survive, but to dominate, a testament to the unforgiving world they called home. The extinct dolphins that once roamed these ancient seas weren't just unusual, they were unlike anything we associate with dolphins today. Some had features so extreme and specialized that it's almost hard to believe they shared a lineage with the dolphins we know. One of the most intimidating of these ancient species was Echolocation, a long-snouted dolphin with dagger-like teeth that jutted out from a jaw almost like a spear. These teeth were perfect for skewering prey, allowing Echinodelphis to grasp and control even slippery or armored fish with precision. The sight of Echinodelphis lunging through the water with its pointed jaw leading the way must have struck terror in anything unlucky enough to cross its path. Another ancient dolphin, Macrokentriodon, was built more like a streamlined torpedo with a set of powerful, robust jaws lined with sharp, pointed teeth. Macrokentriodon closely resembled a modern shark in both behavior and appearance, except for one major advantage: its ability to echolocate. Unlike many of its competitors, Macrokentriodon could detect prey hidden in the shadows or murky waters, giving it a significant edge over other predators. This ability meant that it could hunt in conditions that would leave other creatures blind, making it one of the most efficient hunters in its environment. Fossils of Macrokentriodon show that it was a highly successful predator, possibly even hunting in a manner similar to modern-day orcas. There were also the bizarre-looking Squalodelphis, a dolphin with an almost crocodile-like appearance. Its elongated jaw was lined with needle-sharp teeth, perfect for grabbing fish, squid, and other slippery prey. The skull structure of Squalodelphis indicates that it had a bite force far stronger than that of modern dolphins, allowing it to hold on to struggling prey with ease. This unique dolphin species adapted its hunting strategies to target different types of prey, securing its role as a versatile predator in the food chain. Unlike modern dolphins, which have relatively blunt teeth suited for softer prey, Squalodelphis needed its formidable jaws and sharp teeth to break through tougher exoskeletons, such as those found on armored fish or shelled creatures. These ancient dolphin species are striking examples of how extreme evolution can become when survival is on the line. Their jaws and teeth, combined with a streamlined body structure, made them swift and deadly predators. Each species had its own specializations, yet they all shared a common trait. They were hunters that could rival almost any other marine predator in their respective ecosystems. Fossils show wear patterns on their teeth, suggesting a diet that required immense strength to catch and consume, such as large fish, armored sea creatures, and even other dolphins. The predators of these ancient dolphins were few, but competition from other fearsome creatures like large sharks and marine reptiles kept them in a constant state of adaptation. When we imagine ancient dolphins like Echinodelphis, Macrokentriodon, and Squalodelphis, we see creatures that were more than just mammals of the sea. They were apex hunters, armed with extreme physical features that pushed the limits of what we think of as dolphins. Each species was equipped with traits designed to secure its survival in the face of brutal competition. These adaptations helped them thrive in their ancient world, but they also set them apart as some of the most formidable marine creatures in history. The hunting tactics of ancient dolphins were a masterclass in evolutionary adaptation, perfectly suited to the harsh and dangerous waters of prehistoric Earth. These extinct dolphins were not just passive feeders. They were calculated, efficient predators with a wide range of specialized techniques and features that allowed them to thrive in an ocean full of competition. Unlike today's dolphins, which rely on social hunting and cooperative strategies, many of these ancient species were solitary hunters, relying on physical prowess and unique biological adaptations to overpower their prey. Each dolphin species developed traits specifically tailored to their diet and the ecological niche they occupied, making them some of the most formidable hunters of their time. One of the most fascinating aspects of ancient dolphin hunting was their incredible speed and agility, which allowed them to ambush their prey with remarkable precision. Many species had streamlined, muscular bodies, enabling them to cut through the water with minimal resistance. This speed wasn't just for chasing prey, it was also crucial for surprise attacks. Fossil records show that some dolphin species had an elongated tail fin and a reinforced vertebral column, both of which would have allowed for explosive bursts of movement. With a single powerful stroke, they could close the distance to their prey in seconds, leaving little time for escape. This technique would have been particularly effective in murky or dimly lit waters, where prey might not have even seen the dolphin approaching until it was too late. Ancient dolphins didn't rely on speed alone. They were equipped with formidable weaponry in the form of highly specialized jaws and teeth. Species like Echolocation had elongated, spear-like snouts lined with sharp, protruding teeth. This adaptation allowed them to pierce and grasp their prey with a single thrust, much like a swordfish or marlin. The shape of the jaw enabled these dolphins to impale small to medium-sized fish and other marine creatures, which they would then carry off to consume at their leisure. This predatory style was particularly effective against agile, fast-swimming prey, as Echolocation could strike with enough force to immobilize its target instantly. The jaw structure of Echolocation and similar species is a testament to the evolutionary pressures these dolphins faced, developing a weapon perfectly suited to their hunting needs. In contrast, dolphins like Macrochentriodon had more robust, shark-like jaws with rows of conical teeth designed for gripping and tearing flesh. Unlike modern dolphins, which have more generalized teeth suited for eating soft fish, Macrochentriodon had powerful, serrated teeth that allowed it to hold onto struggling prey, even as it tried to break free. This gripping ability was crucial, as many of the marine creatures that Macrochentriodon hunted were large, strong, and not easily subdued. Its powerful bite force and jaw strength allowed it to take on larger prey than most other dolphin species, including fish nearly as large as itself. With its shark-like features and ability to echolocate, Macrochentriodon was likely able to hunt in conditions and environments that even ancient sharks struggled with, giving it a distinct advantage as a predator. The development of echolocation also played a critical role in the hunting abilities of many ancient dolphins. While not all extinct dolphin species had echolocation, those that did possessed a powerful tool for hunting in dark, deep, or murky waters where vision was limited. Echolocation allowed these dolphins to detect prey from a distance, even if it was hidden behind rocks, vegetation, or in shadows. This ability likely enabled them to hunt at depths and in environments where other predators, reliant on sight, would struggle. The ability to use sound as a hunting mechanism not only helped them locate their prey, but also allowed them to see their surroundings in a way that was highly adaptive. Fossil records suggest that ancient dolphins with advanced echolocation often had slightly larger brain cavities, indicating the increased neurological complexity required for this skill. This echolocation power made these dolphins highly efficient hunters, capable of tracking down elusive prey in nearly any environment. Ambush tactics were also common among ancient dolphins, which required both patience and precision. Some species, particularly those with long snouts and sharp teeth, likely used stealth and ambush as primary hunting strategies. In deeper waters, where light was scarce, dolphins could wait in silence, using echolocation to monitor the movement of nearby prey without giving away their presence. Once a target was in range, they would use their speed to launch a quick and deadly attack. Ambush hunting would have been especially useful for solitary dolphins that couldn't rely on group tactics, allowing them to capture prey without expending too much energy on lengthy chases. By waiting for the right moment and striking with full force, they could conserve their energy while still capturing enough food to survive. Ancient dolphins also demonstrated unique handling techniques for certain types of prey, particularly armored fish and cephalopods with shells. Species like Squalodelphus, with its long, crocodile-like jaw, were perfectly adapted to capture and consume slippery, well-protected prey. Their sharp teeth could puncture shells or tough outer layers, allowing them to break into prey that other predators might have avoided. This feeding strategy gave them access to a wider range of food sources, reducing their competition with other marine hunters. By targeting niche prey items, ancient dolphins could thrive in areas where other predators might struggle, further enhancing their role as top hunters in the ecosystem. In addition to their physical attributes, ancient dolphins also used their senses to detect and react to potential threats, allowing them to avoid larger predators. Fossils show that their inner ear structures were highly developed, suggesting that they could detect even faint vibrations in the water. This sensitivity would have been essential in a world filled with massive predators. It allowed ancient dolphins to detect nearby creatures, including dangerous rivals, giving them a critical early warning system. This same sensitivity helped them locate prey from a distance, allowing them to respond quickly to movements in their vicinity and launch attacks with precision. All these unique adaptations made ancient dolphins some of the most fearsome hunters of their time. Their speed, jaw strength, specialized teeth, and echolocation ability combined to create a highly effective predatory arsenal. These traits were not just advantageous, they were essential for survival in the competitive, predator-dominated world of prehistoric oceans. The ancient dolphins were not only equipped to hunt, but to do so with a level of skill and efficiency that put them on par with other apex predators in their environment. Ancient dolphins occupied a unique and often dangerous position in the prehistoric food web, where every creature was locked in a constant struggle for dominance and survival. Unlike the dolphins of today, which are known for their playful social behaviors and close-knit pods, these ancient dolphins were often solitary, highly adapted hunters who relied on raw power, speed, and specialized hunting techniques. This made them formidable opponents even among the apex predators of their time. However, being at the top of the food chain also meant they had to contend with an array of fierce competitors and predatory rivals that would have made their existence anything but peaceful. The ancient seas were home to massive sharks, ferocious marine reptiles, and other equally fierce dolphin species that were all vying for the same resources, leading to an environment where only the strongest and most adaptable survived. One of the most dangerous rivals for ancient dolphins were the gigantic sharks that prowled the waters. Some shark species, such as Carcharocles megalodon, grew up to lengths of over 50 feet, making them one of the largest predators in Earth's history. These sharks had jaws powerful enough to crush the bones of even the largest marine creatures, with serrated teeth designed to slice through thick flesh and blubber. Any encounter with such a predator would have been a life-or-death struggle for ancient dolphins. While some dolphin species, like Macrokentriodon, had formidable teeth and strong jaws, they were no match in size against these massive sharks. Consequently, ancient dolphins had to rely on their agility, speed, and sometimes sheer cunning to avoid these encounters or to escape with minimal injuries. Some paleontologists suggest that the dorsal scars found on some dolphin fossils may be evidence of violent confrontations with large sharks, indicating that such skirmishes were likely a regular part of their lives. The competition didn't end with sharks. The ancient oceans were also home to marine reptiles such as the mosasaurs, which could reach lengths of over 30 feet. These formidable reptiles had an elongated body and a powerful tail, allowing them to move swiftly and unpredictably in pursuit of prey. They were highly specialized hunters, with double-hinged jaws and sharp conical teeth capable of grasping and holding onto struggling prey. Mosasaurs shared the same habitat as many ancient dolphin species, which meant they were often competing for similar food sources like large fish and squid. To stand a chance against these competitors, ancient dolphins developed their own set of unique features that enabled them to access different types of prey, or avoid direct confrontation with these powerful predators. For instance, some species evolved elongated jaws and narrow bodies that allowed them to reach into crevices or rocky outcroppings, where they could find hidden prey that was inaccessible to the bulkier mosasaurs. In addition to sharks and marine reptiles, ancient dolphins also had to contend with other dolphin species. Unlike modern dolphins, which generally coexist peacefully in pods, ancient dolphins were often solitary hunters with little tolerance for competition. This led to a kind of arms race among different dolphin species, with each developing unique traits to dominate their preferred hunting grounds. Some species, such as Squalodelphus, developed extremely long, narrow jaws filled with needle-like teeth, which allowed them to capture specific types of prey, like slippery fish and squid, without directly competing with other dolphins. By diversifying their diet and specializing in different types of prey, ancient dolphins minimized competition within their own group. However, territorial disputes likely occurred frequently, especially in regions where food was scarce. Fossils of some ancient dolphin species show broken or damaged teeth, as well as partially healed bite marks, suggesting that they engaged in aggressive interactions with both their own kind and other dolphin species. Ancient dolphins had to constantly adapt their hunting techniques and physical characteristics to stay competitive. This meant that evolution favored those who could innovate and survive in such a hostile environment. For example, the evolution of echolocation likely gave certain dolphin species an edge over competitors, enabling them to detect prey from a distance or in low visibility waters. In times or regions where prey was scarce, dolphins that could echolocate had a distinct advantage, allowing them to hunt at greater depths or in murkier waters where other predators were less effective. This ability likely allowed them to hunt at night as well, making them effective 24-hour predators who could exploit times when other creatures were less active. As a result, ancient dolphins with echolocation likely occupied a unique niche in the ecosystem, hunting in places and times that other predators could not. While these adaptations helped ancient dolphins to stay on top of the food chain, they still faced the constant threat of predation and competition. The complex dynamics of the ancient ocean ecosystem meant that any moment of weakness could be exploited by rivals. Injured or weakened dolphins, even those that were apex hunters in their prime, became easy targets for sharks, mosasaurs, or even other dolphins. This unforgiving environment favored only the most resilient individuals, driving a relentless cycle of evolution. The traits that made these dolphins apex predators were not just beneficial. They were essential for survival in a world where every advantage could mean the difference between life and death. Over time, this competitive environment led to significant diversification among dolphin species, each one specializing in a particular niche or prey type to reduce direct competition. Some dolphins evolved broader, more muscular bodies for power and strength, while others developed long, streamlined shapes that maximized speed. This diversification allowed them to coexist with other predators by carving out unique roles in the food chain. For instance, smaller, faster dolphin species may have preyed upon schooling fish, darting through clusters of fish with surgical precision, while larger, more robust dolphins focused on taking down single, sizable prey like large fish or even other small marine mammals. The apex status of ancient dolphins was not a guaranteed position, but one that had to be constantly defended and maintained. Their status in the food chain was a precarious one, constantly challenged by emerging species and shifting environmental factors. As ocean temperatures, sea levels, and prey availability changed over millions of years, ancient dolphins were forced to adapt or face extinction. Their survival depended on maintaining a delicate balance between evolution and competition, as new predators arose and environmental conditions fluctuated. This constant pressure pushed ancient dolphins to develop highly specialized physical features and hunting techniques, ensuring they could hold their own against the variety of fierce creatures sharing their environment. Ultimately, ancient dolphins were apex predators because they could not afford to be anything else. In the brutal, competitive ecosystems of prehistoric oceans, they needed to continually refine their adaptations, hunting skills, and survival strategies. Their lives were a perpetual struggle, not just against other species, but against each other, as only the strongest and most adaptable individuals could secure enough resources to survive and pass on their genes. Every aspect of their biology was fine-tuned by the demands of a predatory lifestyle, with each generation bringing forward the traits that allowed these dolphins to rise to the top of the food chain. The story of ancient dolphins is one of remarkable evolution and adaptation. Yet, like so many creatures of the prehistoric world, they eventually vanished from the oceans. The factors leading to the extinction of these formidable predators are complex and multifaceted, encompassing a mix of environmental changes, new competition, and possible limitations in adaptability. Their extinction was not necessarily a sudden event. Rather, it was likely a gradual process brought on by shifts in climate, alterations in ocean ecosystems, and the emergence of new marine predators. Understanding the reasons behind their decline sheds light not only on the past, but also on the challenges modern marine life faces in a changing world. One of the primary drivers of the extinction of ancient dolphins was the shift in global climate and ocean conditions. Over millions of years, Earth's climate has undergone dramatic changes, with periods of warming and cooling that have significantly affected ocean temperatures, sea levels, and the distribution of marine habitats. For ancient dolphins who had evolved specific adaptations for their respective niches, these changes posed a tremendous challenge. As the Earth's climate cooled during the late Miocene and Pliocene epochs, ocean temperatures dropped, altering the marine ecosystems in which these dolphins thrived. Cold water currents became more prevalent and ocean currents shifted, affecting the availability and types of prey in many regions. Ancient dolphins that relied on warm, shallow waters for hunting found their habitats shrinking or transforming into environments where their specialized features were no longer advantageous. The colder temperatures may have impacted their physiology and hunting efficiency, further straining their populations. The changes in ocean temperature were accompanied by fluctuations in sea levels, which were equally disruptive to ancient dolphin populations. Throughout the Miocene and Pliocene epochs, ice ages and interglacial periods caused sea levels to rise and fall, dramatically reshaping coastlines and shallow marine environments. As sea levels fell, coastal areas, estuaries, and shallow marine habitats, where many ancient dolphins likely hunted, became exposed or fragmented, limiting the regions where they could find prey. These changes forced dolphins to either adapt to new conditions or migrate to other habitats, which often brought them into competition with other marine predators and dolphin species that were better suited to those areas. This constant pressure to adapt or move would have taken a toll on ancient dolphin populations, leading to a gradual decline as many failed to cope with the shifting landscapes of their ocean home. The arrival of new predators and competitors also played a significant role in the decline of ancient dolphin species. As ocean ecosystems evolved, new species emerged, filling the roles of apex predators and increasing competition for resources. For instance, large predatory sharks such as Carcharocles megalodon thrived in the late Miocene and Pliocene oceans, becoming dominant hunters that competed with dolphins for similar prey. These sharks were not only massive, but highly adapted for hunting in both open waters and coastal regions, making it increasingly difficult for ancient dolphins to compete. The presence of such formidable predators likely put additional pressure on dolphin populations, as they not only had to avoid these threats, but also faced limited access to food sources. Moreover, the evolution of modern marine mammals introduced new challenges for ancient dolphin species. Early ancestors of today's whales began to appear around this time, diversifying into various niches in the oceanic food web. Baleen whales, for instance, evolved to feed on plankton and small fish, utilizing a filter feeding method that allowed them to thrive in large numbers without directly competing with dolphins for larger prey. Toothed whales, including the ancestors of modern killer whales and sperm whales, began to evolve as well, taking on roles as skilled hunters that targeted a wide range of prey, including fish, squid, and even other marine mammals. The presence of these newly evolved marine mammals further strained ancient dolphin populations as they occupied similar ecological roles or directly competed with dolphins for food. In addition, some of these new species, such as early orcas, were social hunters that used cooperative hunting techniques, a strategy that gave them an advantage over the more solitary ancient dolphins. As new predators and competitors emerged, ancient dolphins also faced challenges in adapting to the evolving marine environment. While their highly specialized features had allowed them to dominate the oceans in earlier epochs, these adaptations became a double-edged sword as conditions changed. For example, species with long, narrow jaws and sharp teeth were perfect for capturing certain types of prey, but limited in terms of flexibility when food sources changed. With dwindling prey populations and increased competition, these specialized dolphins were less able to adapt to new diets or hunting techniques. This rigidity in their adaptations likely made it difficult for some species to survive, as they were unable to diversify their diets or compete with more adaptable predators. Over time, this inability to adjust to new ecological pressures would have led to a gradual decline in populations, with only the most versatile species able to persist. Additionally, ancient dolphins may have suffered from reduced reproductive rates, further compounding the pressures they faced. Many large marine mammals, including modern dolphins and whales, have relatively long gestation periods and produce fewer offspring compared to other animals. This reproductive strategy, while successful in stable environments, makes populations more vulnerable to extinction when faced with environmental stresses. If ancient dolphins had similar reproductive limitations, their populations would have been less resilient in the face of rapid environmental changes and increased predation. Any decline in population numbers would have been difficult to recover from, particularly as competition for food and habitats intensified. Even slight fluctuations in birth rates or juvenile survival could have tipped the scales against their survival, gradually pushing them toward extinction. While many ancient dolphin species disappeared, their legacy lived on, as some traits and behaviors were passed down through evolution to the modern dolphin species we know today. The pressures that these ancient dolphins faced forced a constant cycle of adaptation and survival, which influenced the lineage of dolphin species that eventually emerged in later epochs. Fossil evidence suggests that some ancient dolphin traits, such as echolocation and streamlined body shapes, were honed and perfected through the challenges of survival in prehistoric oceans. The extinction of many specialized ancient dolphin species may have allowed for the emergence of more versatile and adaptable dolphins who were able to fill multiple ecological roles and thrive in diverse marine environments. This adaptability became one of the defining characteristics of modern dolphins, allowing them to flourish across the world's oceans in a wide range of habitats and conditions. Ultimately, the extinction of ancient dolphins serves as a reminder of the fragility of even the most powerful and specialized species when faced with dramatic changes in their environment. Despite their status as apex predators, these dolphins were unable to withstand the combined forces of climate shifts, habitat loss, and increased competition. Their extinction highlights the delicate balance of marine ecosystems and how interconnected factors can lead to the decline of even the most dominant species. In many ways, the story of ancient dolphins reflects broader patterns in the natural world, where adaptation is the key to survival, and those unable to change are often left behind.